It was another one of those family gatherings. You know the ones. Your relationship with your son's new bride has been somewhat strained. You really don't know the girl that well. And after repeated attempts to have them over, your son and his bride finally agreed to spend a few hours of the holiday at your home. Things were going pretty well during the meal until your husband asked when the girl was going to give him a grandbaby. The mood immediately changed. The look in your daughter-in-law's eyes was as a nuclear missile just had been launched at her territory. You think to yourself, World War III has just begun. The literature refers to daughters-in-law as the gatekeepers to our spending time with our future grandchildren. And so true they are. But there's more. Not only are they the cement or destroyer of a relationship with your future grandchildren, which is a very hard pill to swallow, they are also the gatekeeper to the future relationship with your own son, that individual who has sought your loving arms since birth. Mess up with the daughter-in-law, and a stranger to your entire lineage is sure to follow. So how do you develop a relationship with a daughter-in-law whom you barely know? Must you win the gatekeeper's favor? If yes, then outings such as spending alone time with your daughter-in-law over lunch or shopping, commending her on being a great wife to your son, and making yourself available to her to help when needed with family errands are a few options for your consideration. The taboo list, those things to never do, would likely include you not attempting to maintain an authoritative role in your daughter-in-law's house, being a know-it-all, acting like no woman is good enough for your son, or pressuring the daughter-in-law to have your grandchildren. However, by following the above options, the mother-in-law may feel that they are just going through the motions of keeping their daughter-in-law happy while keeping their fingers crossed, hoping to avoid any landmines haphazardly appearing. A miserable life for the mother-in-law, indeed. From your training with the Stoicists, you know a better way is to be that person your daughter-in-law seeks when marital wisdom is needed. Yes, the daughter-in-law will likely always turn to her own mother for a friendship that the two of you will never share. But when godly wisdom is needed for the daughter-in-law's marriage, you know she will typically seek your presence with great respect. Your reasoning is that you know a wise mother-in-law respects her son's choice on whom to marry, loves the daughter-in-law equally with her son, and does not compete with the daughter-in-law for the son, which, in turn, makes it easy for the daughter-in-law to love the son. A wise mother-in-law is one whom the daughter-in-law desires to babysit the forthcoming grandchildren because the trust in the mother-in-law goes without question. A wise mother-in-law does not attempt to win the daughter-in-law's favor with expensive lunches or luxurious shopping. Instead, she tells the daughter-in-law she will help with handling the son when the daughter-in-law requests her help, rather than criticizing the daughter-in-law's efforts to make her husband happy. By adopting this role, you know that the wise mother-in-law is serving as a mentor in this capacity. The mother-in-law becomes the groundskeeper to the daughter-in-law having a happy marriage. And the literature supports your reasoning by suggesting a wise mother-in-law will fulfill this role by showing her ability to coach the daughter-in-law without being judgmental, waiting for the invitation to help before acting, and sharing personal stories including her own failures in order to give encouragement to her daughter-in-law. It's the beginning of a true mentor-mentee relationship. So, as you think through the current crises during the holiday meal, you remind yourself that the daughter-in-law may be the gatekeeper to the grandchildren, but the wise mother-in-law is the groundskeeper to a healthy and happy marriage between the son and daughter-in-law. A man can be difficult to handle, but Mama knows her son better than anyone. And regarding your husband's question about having a grandchild, Mama, as the wise mother-in-law, will take care of his comment soon enough. And your daughter-in-law knows this very well. Now, using my stoic storytelling method. My son just married, and I fear my daughter-in-law may not let me see the grandchildren once they're born. What should I do? Nothing important comes into being overnight. Even grapes and figs need time to ripen. Epictetus. The wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, accommodating, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and not hypocritical. Book of James. I will use God's wisdom to help my daughter-in-law develop a happy marriage with my son. I realize that my daughter-in-law will likely need my help with my son in the early years of their marriage as they learn about one another. I improve my ability to use God's wisdom to develop a strong lineage. Thank you for sharing your mind with me. For your continued success, hear my secret. A daughter-in-law may be the grandchildren's gatekeeper, but the mother-in-law is the marriage's groundskeeper. Now relax, control your mind, and be as you wish to seem. Empowered. Remember, it's the situation keeping my connection with him. I'm Lori Stiff, the Stoicist, and I believe in you.